Hello and welcome along to Aston Villa from the stands. I hope you're well and thank you for tuning in to today's show. If you're watching live or on replay, big up to you. First of all, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. We're on the road to 15,000 subscribers, 300 odds or so to go. Every subscription counts. And of course, your comments. As I keep saying, chat is on fire. The comment section is on fire. Everyone's got opinions, and everyone's opinion is welcome on this channel. Whether you're a rival fan, whether you're a Villa fan, or whether you're just a hater, I guess. It's all welcome. It's a big up to each and every single one of you. But let's get into today's news. We have lots again to talk about. We have Morgan Rogers is on Arsenal's list of targets. An interesting one that I wasn't expecting, considering yesterday we were talking about potentially Ollie Watkins. Well, Morgan Rogers' name has reappeared. Another player that we're going to talk about today is, of course, none other than Joe Gomez. Someone who actually, for me, is a player I would love to see at Aston Villa. I would love Joe Gomez at Aston Villa, and I'm going to tell you why. And then furthermore, we've got other strikers linked to us, Nicolas Jackson, Hugo Ekitike, I think I've just butchered his name there. And also further news on the likes of Lucas Chevalier and left back, outgoings, Moreno. Yeah, I forgot a man at Aston Villa, but there's news on him as well. So big up to every single one of you. I hope you're well, and let's see what happens. But yeah, look, everyone, all opinions are welcome if they're friendly. It's good to have rivals. It's good to have in-house banter. So yeah, big up to each and every single one of you. So let's get into it. Morgan Rogers. This piece of news surprised me, shocked me, was interesting to say the least. And I'm not quite sure sort of why or what this one's about, but it's a fair source. Have a look at this. Have a look at this, and I want your opinions on this. Arsenal have added Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers to their list of attacking targets. This is reported and posted by The Times Sport. Now, Times Sport, again, a very well-established news journalist and newspaper, should I say. But what's interesting is it really doesn't make sense for me. It's not the type of transfer that I could see ever happening. Now, if that was, for example, Manchester City, which they have been linked to Morgan Rogers because of his past experiences and used to play for them, then I'd understand. But Morgan Rogers and Arsenal, I don't see the fit. For me, Arsenal are crying out for that number 9, which is why Ollie Watkins is being linked to them. And they have people like Odegaard in that sort of number 10 role as it is. They've also got the likes of Ethan Nweri, I think I've butchered his name, who are trying to break through and come into the Arsenal fold. But he is one of those players as well that you could see why top clubs are going for him. And Morgan Rogers, for me, is an absolute gem for any club that he plays at. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Morgan Rogers starts for any Premier League side. And that goes for the champions of Liverpool. And people might say, you're crazy. I absolutely believe Morgan Rogers is that good of a player that he could start for any Premier League side. And we're lucky to have him. The only thing that is frustrating is obviously Morgan Rogers has played out of position for Aston Villa since Marco Asensio comes on. Now, when we get these type of transfers and when you hear this type of news, you always think, it's rubbish. You know, again, let's have a really close look at the phrasing of this. Arsenal have added Aston Villa's Morgan Rogers to their list of attacking targets. So what they've done is they've drawn up players that they want to add to their squad, and there we go. So that's potentially Arsenal's game plan in this second transfer window to have a look at some of these attackers. Big up to Michael, James, and Darwin, who are in the chat live. Big up to you guys. James has said they won't pay the money for Ollie. Got no chance they pay up for Rogers. And that is true. But what Arsenal seem to find is, I feel like they're fumbling in this transfer window quite badly. I feel like Arsenal are fumbling. Zubimendi was meant to be over the line, hasn't yet been announced or confirmed. You've also got the likes of Sesko, and again, is that any closer? And I wonder if Arsenal are going for a little bit of a panic where they're not getting the targets they sort of want. Now, Morgan Rogers, I see it this way. Morgan Rogers loves playing for the Villa. Unless Morgan Rogers kicks up a stinker and says he wants to go and play for another club, then Morgan Rogers never leaves. And his ceiling is so high, I don't think we have even Um, I don't think we've even heard or seen anywhere close to Morgan Rogers' potential. Mustafi said even Ben Jacobs confirmed Villa cancel Martinez for 25-30 million, Josh. Where was this? I'm going to have to look that one up if true. I will have a look at that in a second. But yeah, Morgan Rogers to Arsenal. I don't see it happening. I think it's a long shot. I think it's a little bit of fishing. I must say, one thing I'm learning from these sort of transfers, should I say, is that Arsenal fans seem to absolutely beg it and need it. And they need links. They need links. They need support. They need someone to be linked to their club all the time. And I think this one's just a little bit out of the blue. I don't see it happening myself, and we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I thought it'd be interesting to report on that. Arsenal fishing around in a sea, in a pond, in an ocean that, quite frankly, it's not for them. The only thing that is annoying me, is that, okay, people think they can now come and raid Aston Villa because of our PSR situation. I've seen way too many posts on social media today where people are going, Aston Villa, PSR. If you see my video earlier, then I've gone through the standings about what we need to make and do. And as Mustafa said, Villa in PSR issue, I saw the table for PSR. Mustafa is completely right. And if you go on all the people who have quote tweeted it, and if you go on all the people who have absolutely gone on about Aston Villa, you will see that they have basically said, go raid Aston Villa, go raid Villa, go raid them, go steal their best players. We'll take him, and him for cheap. So there we go. But yeah, PC, big up to you. All that 200 million for Rogers. It sounds about right to me. Sounds about right to me. So there we go. Big up to everyone. Big up. Villa in PSR issue. I saw the table for PSR. Yeah, so I read that. Arsenal definitely always need that link, and they do panic. Agreed. I can't see Rodgers going there. Can't see Watkins going there either, to be honest. There is a world, right? There is a world where Arsenal could have another really diabolical transfer window. They fluffed it in January. They didn't get their number 9 in. It took way too long to sort that issue out. And I think once again, Arsenal fans are going to be looking at Mikel Arteta's involvement and is he bringing in the right players in the right position? But second of all, imagine if Arsenal go into a panic buy situation again where they have to overpay for a certain player because they need to get a transfer through the window. For me, Morgan Rogers is not leaving Aston Villa. He won't leave Villa, and he will be our player 100% on that one. So, yeah, wanted to cover that Morgan Rogers story to start it off. As I said, we'll keep an eye on the links, but there we go. Michael said, isn't it only 15 million we've got to make up? It's not as easy as that. It's, of course, the accounts of the overall revenue. We only can have that much loss, Michael. So 15 million loss. Over. If you read again, I did that video earlier. If you saw the article, what I said, Villa have had a staggering over 200 million loss in 2 years. Right, Villa are making a loss of 200 million in 2 years. It's absolutely crazy the way finances work in football. But let's see on that one. But yeah, it's this PSR conundrum is why other clubs are looking at us, and it is why all our top players now are going to be linked. Watch this. As we already know, we know internally ourselves that we have this 30th of June deadline. We knew internally ourselves that we've got to sell a big player. What is now being apparent is that 100% clubs are going to come fishing. Clubs are going to come fishing for our top guns. So let's be careful. It's all over social media. Why they go to Arsenal? Arsenal are even bigger on bottlers than we are. I think we're joint bottlers with them. I agree, PC. Maybe they just pip us to it, but agree. How are we making that loss with all our sales big up to me? I don't know. That is what that Athletic article has said. As I said, I posted a video earlier today. If after this stream you want to watch it, I broke down the PSR table and then I read basically the article from the Athletic. Because what a lot of people don't do is a lot of people don't subscribe to the Athletic. They don't have an account for the Athletic, so they don't get to read the whole article. I've got all the Athletic's accounts, so I can read any article from The Athletic for free. So I think it's quite interesting. I think it's quite important to read all of it. It didn't really tell us too much, a lot of what we already knew, but it did say that we are the biggest club in trouble and we need to pull our fingers out and sort it out. So there we go. Absolutely, anyone from any club is welcome here to have a football opinion, just not abuse. That's all. But there we go. My wife is asking if we can have some nice mountain views in Weston-super-Mare. Don't think you can get mountains. No, probably not mountains. But where I'm moving to, PC, you could get some forest and mountains there. In the Forest of Dean, but you get some nice sea views if you want. So there we go. Can't we just get a bank loan? It's basically what Spurs have a huge debt on it and doesn't affect their PSR. Look, there is loopholes that are going to happen with PSR. One of the biggest things is we are allowed to sell to our sister club. And what's going to happen is, as everyone keeps saying, we think we're going to sell our women's team to the sister club, which then is going to keep us out of the clear. Otherwise, let's see what happens. But yeah, bad language is only allowed on game day. That's true, especially when Villa are not doing what we want Villa to do. Villa won't sell to Arsenal. Arsenal are competition. PC, I'll have to give you a list of where you can find mountains in the UK and help narrow it down for you. I'll tell you how close we are to them. But yeah, big up to you. Big up to Goats as well. How does Chelsea have... Yeah, Chelsea, again, the loophole kings is what we call it. Chelsea have found the loopholes. They sold their women's team. Again, they sold the rights to their women's team. They did some dodgy in-house dealings with their sister clubs and in the Premier League. And Chelsea have absolutely smoked it. Right, let's go on to Joe Gomez. This is one player I would absolutely snap your hand off for at Aston Villa. Joe Gomez to Villa would be absolutely idyllic. I would take Joe Gomez in a heartbeat, and I think he's a player that we should be targeting 100%. Joe Gomez to Villa is a must, in my opinion. And we have to find a way to make that deal work. Why? He is Mr. Versatile. He can play centre-back. He can play right-back. And he's had a lot of experience at doing both. What people forget is that Joe Gomez played centre-back with Virgil van Dijk in the COVID season where Liverpool won the league. He also played centre-back against Villa when we smashed them 7-2, but that's another story. However, I think it's a top player. And look, Fraser is a Liverpool fan. He's a top player, but injury-prone. I want to know, people in the chat, would you take Joe Gomez at Liverpool, at Villa? Let me know. Let me know if you would take Joe Gomez, and where would you like to see him play? Is he the type of right back you want, or is he another centre half option? P said the amount out my front window is higher than any amount in the UK, and it's just a little. That's madness, isn't it? To think that, to dream that. But here's the article. Aston Villa are one of no fewer than 8 Premier League clubs who are keeping close tabs on Joe Gomez. Liverpool are open to letting him leave this summer for around 25 million, but the interested clubs believe they can get him for less. Now, Joe Gomez for 20 million, I'm taking that. I'm paying 20 million for Joe Gomez, and I'm going to tell you why. If you look at who we're being linked with in terms of right backs and centre backs, we've had some terrible links from La Liga. We've had players like Oscar Mingueza. We've had Loic Bade. We've had players that Villa have tried to go, hey, I want a centre-back who can also play right-back. And we want that hybrid. There's no better player out there than Joe Gomez who can do that and is Premier League worthy, who has Premier League experience. It's not a gamble. We know that Joe Gomez can go and play centre half or right back in the Premier League and have absolutely no qualms and problems. I think he's a great person to have behind Ezri Konsa as a backup for centre back. And quite frankly, if Joe Gomez came into the club right now, he's a better right back than Matty Cash, and therefore he's my first choice right back. Big out to Michael, who's got his last night in Turkey. Hope you're enjoying it, Michael. A lot of people said no in the chat about not taking Joe Gomez, which I'm shocked at. Now, let's have a quick look at his injury record, shall we? Because that is the concerns of what many are talking about in the chat, which is his injury record. and that does put people off. He's had a hamstring injury, I believe. I think there's a thing where, here we go, Joe Gomez injuries. Joe Gomez injuries. I'm going to get it up. This table's not very good. Although it does show a little bit more scope. Let's have a look at this. I don't know how good this one is. A bit of a quick gamble on this one. But here's Joe Gomez's injuries. Joe Gomez injuries. No, you don't want view PDF. So yeah, thigh injury, duration over 4 weeks. I don't think he's been back since then. But if you look, 2 to 4 weeks, there's always a injuries here, injuries there. 23. Like he's always picking up knocks. He obviously, again, I think that's what Fraser said. In 2020, November 2020, he was out up until July 21. Then he had another knock between July and 20. So yeah, in the 2020-2021 season, had a bit of a bad one. He's had a bad one in February 23 to September 23. So a good 5-6 months there, which is very telling. And then he's been out since December 24. So yeah, there are injuries there. There are injuries there, which are a cause for concern, basically, in a nutshell. There are injuries there for a cause of concern, and we have to take that into account. We don't want to be signing these injury-prone players who come to us, we have them on our books, and the next thing you know, it ain't worth it. So, yeah, that's with Joe Gomez. The other thing is, as well, is I wonder what Joe Gomez's wages are on for Liverpool. That one says, anyone for Wan-Bissaka at right back? It's an interesting shout. I think that West Ham he'll be staying at West Ham. I've never been too sure on Wan-Bissaka. But again, he is that older school right back, loves to defend one-on-one and is rarely beaten one-on-one. Going forward, I'm not so sure on him. But yeah, hold your reservations. Right back is still a position we need to upgrade on, but I'm not paying 25 million for Joe Gomez. No way, Jose, people. No way, Jose. So, yeah, thanks, Joe Gomez. But there's 8 Premier League clubs going in for him as well. There's going to be a bit of a bidding war going on there as well, isn't there? Okay, next article story today is about Alex Moreno. He's on around 80 to 100k, but it's a lot of money again. We want to be keeping that 80k region as opposed to 100k. People, by the way, do smash the like button if you haven't done so already. We do appreciate it. We're going to aim for 50 likes on the stream, so run those likes up. Of course, as well, have a look at this one. Real Betis want to sign a left-back this summer, and Alex Moreno is an option along with Junior Firpo. Moreno, who joined Aston Villa for 13.5 million in 2023, has 1 year left in his contract and has wanted to return to Real Betis. I wonder what we're going to do with Moreno. I think, of course, his loan move to Nottingham Forest, he rarely played. Couldn't get in that starting lineup. It was Williams and Aina who were their fullbacks. Moreno, 13.5 million euros. If we can get 10 million euros, if we can get 10 million euros for Moreno, I'm sort of bowing out with, yeah, job done. He did his little bit of a job when he first came to us. We've got better options. We'll take that. We'll move on. But it's interesting again. Is that another player that Villa have completely flopped on? When you think about some of the signings that have, and we've put on big contracts, we've got Moreno stuck with us for another year. If we don't sell him, he will end up inevitably getting a loan deal and we'll have to keep paying his wages. Villa have put some players on that just haven't worked out, and that does come under Unai Emery's era. Again, Moreno is an Unai Emery signing, isn't he? Oh, am I wrong? Was it Gerrard? You're gonna have to help me out here, chat. Was Moreno at Unai Emery or Gerrard signing? But I think Moreno did his job for where he was, but we displaced him straight away when Matson and Dean came in and he fell down the pecking order, and his injury probably didn't help. I think Meeks is right. He was good for us. I think very telling that Unai was quick to get rid of him when he got two other left backs. So if you think about it, two other left backs come in, and Moreno's third choice all of a sudden. Similar to the right back situation. We bring in Kostan Ajolkovic, and he's going to get shipped off. Philogene, we keep signing players sometimes, and I'm like, are we sure about these guys? Do we know what we're doing with these guys? Why are we delaying it with these guys? What's going on? So there we go. But yeah, as I said, Moreno is an option along with Junior Firpo for Real Betis. If we can get him back to Betis and around 10 million, I think I'm shaking your hand and saying we'll take the loss. Thanks for your time, thanks for memories, but we're moving on now. So there we go. But yeah, big up to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I'm enjoying all your comments as well. Okay. This one. Big striking news coming in. We seem to have a problem with a number 9 being linked to us all the time. I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. I don't know if it means we're looking to replace Ollie Watkins or have a backup for Ollie Watkins or have competition for Ollie Watkins. But these number 9s aren't going away. These number 9s are not going away. Here are some of the other links that are going on. Aston Villa have a fairly serious interest in the potential signing of Chelsea striker Nicolas Jackson. Now, why are we talking about Nicolas Jackson? Well, we've just seen Chelsea sign Liam Delap. We've also seen Chelsea being linked to a few other forwards. Nicolas Jackson to leave Chelsea, I think, looks really likely this summer. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like Nicolas Jackson will be leaving Chelsea this summer. The big question is, who to? Now, Nicolas Jackson is a very deceptive type of player, and I'll tell you why. First and foremost, Nicolas Jackson, when Unai Emery came in our first window that we had, if you remember, we played that friendly against Villarreal at Villa Park. Nicolas Jackson was a player in which Unai Emery and Aston Villa wanted. And even Nicolas Jackson has said in interviews that he was close to joining Aston Villa to join up with Unai Emery, his former manager. Obviously, Chelsea came in, probably offered a bit more of this. And then all of a sudden, he goes to Chelsea over Unai and Villa. And we were all convinced that Jackson was coming to the Villa. Now, again, Nicolas Jackson is fairly serious interest. No approach, no offer, but we have an interest sign him. Now, have a look at these stats, and I want to make your opinion. I was shocked at these Nicolas Jackson stats. I think he misses quite a few chances, very similar to Ollie Watkins in that case. But he's actually quite deadly. And I think it's respectful that he's a non-penalty striker as well. Let's keep that in mind. He's a non-penalty striker as well. Kevin says Watkins going nowhere. We won't get big money for Watkins after this window. Watkins could be on the chopping block. I think this is, I think Meets is right. Do or die. And look, James and Meets' comments linked together. Why we keep getting linked to others' average players? And Jonathan David Link's gone quiet. Hate to be the bearer of bad news and same old drum, but you know what I'm going to say? Because of which European competition we're in. That's why we're getting linked to some of these guys. Right, stats. What's your thoughts on these Nicolas Jackson stats right here? In the Premier League, Nicolas Jackson, in 30 games, had 10 goals, 5 assists. Quite a few yellows and reds for a striker as well. In the 23-24 season, he had 35 games, 14 goals, 5 assists. 5 assists consistently and 10 goals plus in both seasons. Now, there are no Ollie Watkins stats again. Let's be honest with that. They're not Ollie Watkins level stats. But at Chelsea, I saw a stat that Chelsea have created the most chances in the Premier League but have the worst conversion rate across the team. Basically, they're not very clinical in front of goal. But the fact that what I want to focus on is Nicolas Jackson under Unai Emery. And Nicolas Jackson was linked to us because of these stats here. Have a look at this. In 22-23 season, Nicolas Jackson, 26 games, 12 goals, 4 assists under Unai Emery. So we had a GA of 16, so 26 games, 16 goals or assists. That is what Unai Emery got out of Nicolas Jackson. Let me say that again. Nicolas Jackson under Unai Emery had a GA of 16, his best, I think, if you compare it. Oh no, he had his first season Chelsea, he did a bit better. But 26 matches, 16 GA. We love it. We absolutely love it. And that's the sort of thing. Unai Emery can do his thing on players and make it work and make them amazing and make them blossom and make them flourish. And maybe Nicolas Jackson could be that type of player. PC, we're going to talk about that player in a second, who you'll mention in the chat. Unai makes average players good, apart from Dwight Cash. Kevin said, let it go, Josh. Champions League's okay about Villa. We'll be back next season. Kevin, I wish I had your positive mindset. But the damning state of not getting Champions League football is showing in these links that we're getting in transfers. It's also very clear in our PSR. Honestly, if you saw that article from The Athletic, it said it loud and clear. Villa missing out on Champions League was detrimental to us off the pitch. It was detrimental to us off the pitch in terms of finances. James says, can imagine the moaning when Jackson misses first. Yeah. If we basically sold Watkins and Jackson comes in and he misses, as James said, it's going to be, he's just another Watkins. Well, listen, if we get just another Watkins, then we're going to get someone who scores goals, gets assists, runs defences ragged, and is an all-time Aston Villa Premier League goal scorer. So if we do get another Watkins, then I'm buzzing. So there we go. There we go. Chelsea don't play to their players' strengths. They play to keep big names in the team. That's actually true. So there we go. Not really. Who do you think we'd be after if it's in the Champions League? What do you mean, Kevin? What do you mean? Oh, what, in terms of player quality? Well, we're not going to be linked to bang average La Liga players. And we're not going to have, again, look at the goalkeeper situation that we're being linked to. Where's our top right back? Where's my top striker? Maybe we could have been in for Cesco Gyökeres. We got Champions League football. That's the type of quality I'm looking at. But I get your point. I just think it's been dusty links so far. And just maybe Champions League have done that. But of course they are just speculation. I think from what's this? That Villarreal Jackson stat is the same as Ollie overall. Difference being Ollie does it consistently in the Prem. Yeah, so let's go back to Jackson's stats and then we'll go to Ollie's again. So Jackson was in his first season, his last season at Villarreal, 26 games, 12 goals, 4 assists. That's under Unai Emery. His best season for Chelsea was 19 GA in 35 games in the Prem under Pochettino. So 19 GA in 35. So it's pretty consistent. Now, let me get... let's go. Ollie Watkins stats. I mean, Watkins smashes him out the park. Watkins smashes him out the park. Do you know what I mean? Look at Watkins, 38 games, and he's got a GA of 24. Like, Ollie Watkins has a GA of 24 this season in 38 matches. Season before, he's had a GA of 32 in 37. I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's unbelievable stats. In fact, Ollie's had one season worse than Jackson in 5, and one of them was under Gerrard. Just remember that, playing with Danny Ings. So, yeah, if you compare Ollie Watkins, and this is what I'm saying, if you lose your number 9, make sure you get someone who's just as good. Trying to replace those Ollie Watkins stats is going to be really hard. Really, really hard. Really hard. So, let's see chat on that one. But yeah, interesting news, that, isn't it? Again, Nicolas Jackson, would I take him as another option with Ollie Watkins? Yes, I would. Would I take Nicolas Jackson as someone who would I take Nicolas Jackson as someone who leads the line just by himself? No. I can't take Jackson as my main number 9, but I can take him in the squad. I can take him in the squad 100%. So that's where I'm at with that. People keep running up the likes for me, by the way. We're trying to aim for 50 likes. Please do that. So, look, I think Ollie Watkins stays. If we brought in Nicolas Jackson, then yeah, I think that's two great little strikers. Again, Jackson is Premier League proven in the sense of he's played a couple of seasons. Don't need to worry about it. Let's see it. I know, James. Well, people say that. Yeah. Imagine Watkins' assist if he's playing as a 10. I think it'd be all right out there, wouldn't it? Sell Bailey, Ramsey, Watkins, Dean. I think, well, Bailey's definitely going. I think Ramsey and Dean are going to be the surprise ones, yeah. Right. Next story then for people in the chat. And big up to you guys. I've got to show you some Jack Grealish news, actually. Right. Listen to this. Jack Grealish's family have potentially caused a bit of a problem for Jack Grealish to return to Aston Villa. And Captain said advert frenzy this evening for me. I don't know. Maybe it's because we're on later. I don't know. I don't, Captain, but big up to you. I'll have a look at. But yeah, listen. Jack Grealish being linked to many clubs because he is leaving Man City. I don't know if you saw the news, but Grealish got left out of Manchester City's Club World Cup squad. So he's not travelling to the Club World Cup as he's trying to find a move away from Man City. The likes of Newcastle, Everton have been linked to him, but also we have been linked to Grealish. But have a look at this. If you remember when he played at that home game for Man City, he got booed and booed and booed every time he touched the ball. Villa actually beat Man City that day, and we won 2-1, if you remember that, at Villa Park. His dad had a WhatsApp message leaked to a friend, and he said, Villa fans are see you next Tuesdays. So they're all fickle. Club will be nowhere about Jack, basically, and really laid into the Villa fans. Whoever his mate is has leaked the WhatsApp, so that's or someone's that, so that's crazy. But have a look at this article that came up about it. He did stick 3 fingers up as well. So Jack and himself have made a return, made it difficult for a return. But have a look at this post here. This is about Grealish. But a return to Villa to play under Unai Emery would be by no means straightforward this summer, with Grealish and his family bruised by the reception he received last December in City's 2-1 defeat at Villa. All bruised. We didn't exactly beat him up, did we? We just gave him a load of verbals, and he couldn't take it. Grealish would not have expected a standing ovation and would have even relished some good-natured stick, but the volume of the booing he received came as a shock to his system. Family members who had always been welcomed and encouraged back by the club would put off revisiting Villa Park for the remainder of the season. Yeah, I know, drama. Family drama with Villa. Look, let's be real here. What else did he expect? I think Villa fans booed him because if he was playing now for Aston Villa under this Unai Emery team, he could have potentially won something with us. Not only that, but we are a club on the rise, and he sold his soul. Now, the Grealish family could turn around and go, Jack's made the right move. He's gone and won some trophies, which is what he wanted to do in his career. He did have a major integral part in the treble-winning season for City. But basically, he had a bit of a stinker with that. Second of all, Grealish and Man City got absolutely done by the Villa home atmosphere that day. We played Man City in that 2-1 win in December when Man City hit that awful patch where they couldn't buy a win. The Villa Park crowd did their job. The Villa Park crowd did their job to put off Man City, to put off Grealish, to stop them performing. Job done. So the Grealish family are making it difficult for Jack to come back. I think they should just stay quiet. I think they should just stay quiet, accept it, and then listen. I know for a fact if Grealish came back to Villa, he's not going to get booed, is he? He's not going to get a raucous reception. It's going to be a bit like you should never have left, but here you are, welcome home. Now go win us something. And we all know if Grealish was putting the ball in the back of the net and in the top bins and winning us trophies, we're all fickle. He's all forgiven. We hug him, and that's all that happens. Yeah. So, Grealish family, settle. Grealish family, stop stirring it up, and let Jack Grealish and Unai Emery sort this out. And if he wants to come back, then let's get him back. If he doesn't, then let's see what happens. But it's all pantomime. Maybe the other way I could look at it is his family are playing an absolute blinder. They're doing it on purpose so that so other clubs think they're in for Jack, and then Jack goes to Villa and screws them all over. If only. But yeah, let's see what he said. Did he get his Paul Phoenix there? Villa were around long before Jackson's peak. To be fair, we owe a lot to Jack. He dragged us up, and then even in leaving that 100 million boosted us for 3 years. Exactly. I think that is a big thing that we have to realise. Grealish hasn't done a Trent. Grealish hasn't left on a free. If Grealish left on a free transfer, he'd be dead to all of us. He would never be welcome back. If he ran down his contract to leave on a free, we'd hate that. He left for 100 million, and I think that's the difference. But yeah, Rodgers' value have rotted Premier League star and England international. No chance of any less than 85 to 100 future star. He absolutely is. I think that's great as well. Reminding me, he's an England starter now. Basically, he's an England main boy. Like you want Morgan, pay the price. But big up to everyone in the chat. Make sure you're hitting the like button. I appreciate that. But yeah, Villa did amazing. Not saying your manager's dumb. It's just the club can't get the pool. But yeah, we definitely strike up with under 23 Wilson isn't ready. Well, John, look, we've signed that Redmond guy who's going to go into the under 21s and do his thing there. So there we go. Personally, for me, Jack Grealish, if he wants to come back, let's not make it pantomime. Let's not make it all about Jack again. We're Aston Villa FC, and that's first and foremost. The badge is more than the player. If he wants to come back and win us something, then come back. But let's not make a pantomime about it. And certainly don't need his family saying they felt they couldn't go back to Villa Park because of the bloody feud. I don't know. Yeah, it is pathetic. If you're Villa fans, which his family say they are, if you are Villa fans, then go support the club. Show your face. The fact, they're hiding because, it's crazy. Jackson for striker for Villa, says Marlon. Look, Marlon, if Nicolas Jackson came to Villa as another option with Ollie Watkins, I'm a yes. If it's Nicolas Jackson replacing Ollie Watkins, I'm a no. And that's where I'm at. So there. But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. As I said, a little bit of a later stream tonight. We did have Starry's trials. Those of you who don't know who Starry is, she's my daughter. She had trials for a professional outfit today. And she's got to go back on Saturday morning. She did really well. We're very happy how she performed. And she grew into the trial. She was very nervous at the start, but she blossomed into it, which we're really happy about. So, yeah, we got back about 7 o'clock. So I thought I'll put a later stream on. Usually we go for 8:30 on our slot here. But yeah, we've hit the 9 o'clock slot tonight. So thank you to everyone who's watching. Right, more stuff. Again, number 9s. We've been talking about number 9s. We just talked about Nicolas Jackson. We obviously were linked to Yusuf En-Nesyri of Fenerbahce the other day. Again, looks like a player that could be up for grabs. And again, another report comes in. Not going to hold on to this one too much. But we were linked to En-Nesyri a few days ago. We did a whole live stream on that one. Yusuf En-Nesyri wants to leave Fenerbahce this summer, and Aston Villa are interested and understood that they may approach Fenerbahce in the coming days. You know that a lot of these stories at the moment are basically the key words are in these stories: interested, on a list, may approach. It's a lot of speculation. We have to wait and see. But we keep getting linked to number 9s, which I find fascinating. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Meek says, literally went through and liked all the Stars videos yesterday, putting in the effort. No, we appreciate you saying well done to her. Heidi and I saw that and we appreciate that. We have had a word with her about uploading more. So we said once she's got through these trials, we'll see what happens. It is nice. Yeah, thank you a lot. But yeah, she played as the number 9 today. They did smaller sided games. On Saturday, they're doing 9-a-side games apparently, but they did smaller sided games. They did a few technical drills, and then they did a small sided games, sort of round robins, 4-on-4s, 5v5s. It's good. It's good. She did well, so we're happy.
See you.
Yeah. The only thing she's not we say not good at. The only thing we can't get her seem to do is when she presses the defender. She gets to the defender. And then she just stops. So she sprints. She does all the hard work. She sprints, closes the defender down, and just stops. She doesn't go and engage. She doesn't go tackle. She doesn't get her body across. She freezes and almost lets them play. And she turned around after. I said, why'd you do that today? He said, oh, I don't want to make enemies. And I was like, they're all your enemies. There's a trial. Yeah, until they're on your team, they're your friends. But they're your enemies. I said, you need to be going into them. And yeah, she was a bit, I don't know why, but she wasn't going in for the big tackle. I'm a bit like an old school Diego Costa or a Mitrovic, right? If I'm pressing someone as a trial, the first thing I'm doing is I'm knocking that defender over and I'm making them. Yeah, I'm making that defender shit themselves for the rest of the trial, and that will gain and that will gain me advantage because that means that they're going to make mistakes on the ball. They're not going to want it, and I'm going to score more goals, and so yeah, I'm absolutely doing a Diego Costa, Mitrovic. I'm rattling the defender. I'm leaving one in on them on the trial, and then yeah, I'm picking them up and go, oh sorry, but they know that I've done that. Obviously, I'm not telling Starry to kick the life out of them, but I'm saying just have a little bit more edge on you, get into them. Just close the passing lanes. It's sort of what she tries to do, Pete. She approaches right. She angles her run to press. She gets there, and it's like she does a car. You know when you're driving along, emergency stop. She just stops. She even throws her arms behind her back almost. So yeah, we'll be trying to get her to get out of that habit. But she scored some really good goals tonight. The touch was really good, and she took a bit of a. She stood up. She stood up. She is tall as well. She's taller than me. She's 5'9", 5'10". She's growing. She's growing. Right. Back to the transfer news. As I said, end this series is a big one, but here's the big one. Here's the big one that people are rubbing their emergency stopping a Nissan. It basically is. She used to be more like a bloody Porsche or Ferrari when it comes to braking. So there we go. Hugo Ekitike, I can't say his name. I'm really bad at saying this guy's name. Hugo Ekitike. I'm calling him Hugo. All right, the French Hugo. Hugo wants to take his time to think things through. Chelsea are pushing to reach an agreement, but Liverpool is very still much in the race. Aston Villa is also keeping a close eye on his situation. If you don't know who this player is, I'm going to show you now. But once again, we're trying to compete with Chelsea, Liverpool, who can offer much better caliber of football, probably better wages, and frustrating. But this guy, I don't know. Chelsea, they just signed Delap. They've got Jackson on their books. They've got Guay, I think his name is. They've got some nines, Chelsea. Surely they're not going to have Delap and Hugo in their team. Liverpool, I could see it a little bit more, to be honest. I could see him more at Liverpool than I could Chelsea. But if we're linked for him, then I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that a lot. But I don't think we can afford it. Ask a coach if that's how she's been coached. Yeah, I think that's the problem. It's the lack of. So we're trying to get that into her. But yeah, we're trying to get on there. Ekitike, I think, Josh. Ekitike. We'll try that one. But here is his stats. Here's Ekitike's stats. Hugo Ekitike. I can't say it. I can't say his name. It's really annoying me, actually. Right. Here's his stats. Again, Price-wise, it's probably going to be a bit out of range. Played for Eintracht Frankfurt for 2 seasons. His first season, he had 6 GA in 14 games. You think that's all right then? But in the 24-25 season for Eintracht Frankfurt, 33 games, he's had a GA of, again, a very solid 23. So this guy, for me, is more closer to the Ollie Watkins type of profile that we're looking for. He's also played for PSG, but not quite done as impressive. Europa League as well, you can see he's played in the competition we're in next season. 12 games, 4 goals, 3 assists. Very much an Ollie Watkins type profile. Very much that, but it's all the other things about him. Why so many European clubs are after him? He's 22 years old, so he's a young striker, and that's going to go down well because of his longevity. But as you can see, he's on a contract till 2029. That's going to be a lot of money to buy him out of that. All right, I've got some help. Ekitike. Ekitike. Why can't I say, bless you, why can't I say his name? Hugo Ekitike. I'm going to try my best. Hey, Wolfie's on the chat. Big up to Wolfie. Big up to Wolfie. Much love to Wolfie. He is one of our alliances. We love Wolfie. As a Forest fan, I think he's a great content creator and a great guy. Big up to Forest Fan TV. Big up to Wolfie. He's our guy. He's our guy. Me and him are going to do some content soon. We've got to get. But well, yeah, I've got to tap him up. He mentioned it the other day on his stream. We're going to do it. Big up to Forest Fan TV. Big up to Wolfie. And yeah, show some love. If you haven't, subscribe please to Forest Fan TV because we're going to be working with him. And if you haven't subscribed to him yet, when we do another video together, I'll be making sure his link's there. So yeah. But yeah. Let's have a look. Vardy on a free would be nice. Oh, no, I don't want Jamie Vardy. He's not our type of guy. Wolfie's trying to help me out. Ekitike. There we go. Look, I hope we don't sign him now because I can't be dealing with his name. I can't be dealing with his name. That's the reason why I don't want to sign this guy now. I can't be dealing with his name. I don't want to be trying to butcher his name all watch long. All game. I've got a job to remember. It's a bit silly, right? All right, guys, I'm going to do something funny for you in a minute, right? It's now made me do it. I've just naturally done it there. I've absolutely lost trail of thought. That's
a £5 meal deal from McDonald's. Cheeseburger or mayo chicken, fries.
No, hold on. I'm getting out of it. One set. Yeah, that stupid thing. Just call him Dave. Yeah, that's what I think. I should just call him Dave. Right, question for anyone, right, in the chat. While we're off of here, this is how random the stream is tonight. I knew it was going to be nuts. Anyone watch Little Britain? First and foremost, did anyone ever watch Little Britain? And second of all, Lou and Andy, let me know. Did anyone ever watch Little Britain? Did anyone watch Little Britain? McDonald's in a bad chat to that. I know. But yeah, Hugo is on our radar. But I don't think we're going to get him because we've got the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea playing in competition for him. But yeah, did anyone watch? I want that one. Yeah, did anyone watch Little Britain? And yeah, let me know. So I've got really hooked on impersonating Lou, aka David Williams, who played the carer for Andy. I love Little Britain. And Heidi just laughs all the time when I do it. But I'm gonna embarrass myself and do it. But here we go. Here's my Lou impression for anyone who cares. If you don't know,
Tesco's.
Yeah, I actually start doing it in Tesco's to embarrass Heidi, and she goes nuts on it. So there we go. But look, I'll do it in impression on the next story. Okay. So here we go. Let me try it. Now I'm under pressure here, and she loves it. Right, people, we're going to do a little story about Tyrone Mings. Now, Mings gets himself in a bit of kerfuffle sometimes because he gets himself injured and all that. He doesn't like it when Tyrone Mings gets injured. Yeah, when Tyrone Mings gets injured. Yeah, it's a new deal for us. Absolutely. Think about it. Anyone who's just come on my stream and seen that, you're going to be like, what the hell? But yeah, it's all I talk about. So Heidi thinks I'm nutter. And look, Captain says, bang on that is, because he says the word kerfuffle. So I can't, I can't quite do Andy, but I'll be often in the house trying to jump from one character to the other, going, "Oh no, I want that one." But yeah, Villa every time we check we clear PSR, computer says no. But yeah, sorry, yeah, random. I've just done it. Not too shabby. But there we go. Let's get back to the serious nature. This is how random we are on this channel that we do that. But anyone who's not watched Little Britain has probably just gone, what the flimmadam jimmer have I just heard, listened to, or seen? I've got Puff just sat behind my legs. She's watching from down below. And Heidi's just here cracking up and loving it. So we're living the dream. We're living the dream. But here we go. There were a period throughout his recovery where Tyrone Mings doubted whether he would ever play football again. There was an article that said Tyrone Mings, again, when he got that injury in around January time, they expected him to take 2 months to be out, and he came back in 4 weeks. Tyrone Mings is an absolute warrior. His body's unbelievable how he deals with these injuries. And furthermore, he is someone that I'm so glad we gave him a contract extension to. But I keep saying this about Mings. I said Mings could have retired from football. If we had a tweet come out or information come out that says Mings said he's not coming back, the injury's too much, he's got to look after his body, then we'd have been like, do you know what, Tyrone, thanks for the memories. What a real shame that's the way you had to end, but we get it. He absolutely has been a hero for us. Have a look at this. This is the stat. I found it now. Following his knee injury sustained against West Ham in January, doctors' expectations were that Tyrone Mings would miss 2 months. But instead, he returned inside 4 weeks, risking his own health in resulting matches. That was also a time where we had one centre-back available, where Kamara was playing left centre-back. It was Kamara and Konsa. We were going through a period where we had one centre-back available, and Mings basically forced himself back and put himself on the line. And as people have said, it's very much like James Chester. You have to bow your head to these sort of players who actually put the club before their own needs. And that's something too often you find in football, that some players, they don't give it their all. They are quite selfish. They are quite, themselves before themselves. Just some breaking news about Crystal Palace coming up here. Meat said, was he doing an impression? Didn't know there's any difference. Oh no, that list came out there. Meat, I absolutely love Titan, will forever live in my memories of Villa hero. Absolutely. I saw an interview of Mings a couple of weeks ago, and he seemed grateful to be playing even a bit part. Probably is very humble and grateful and cherishes every moment now. And that's what you need in life. I think you need that humbling to remember who you are, what you are, why life is so important, and make every moment count. And I've definitely done that as well. And I think Mings has done that, and I think it's very, very important. And how many young footballers do we see let it get to their heads at an early age, earn a load of money, then they just fall out with the love of the game because they're just in the abyss of football and not life. And what they find themselves is bouncing from club to club, looking for paycheck after paycheck. They're only doing it for the money, not the game. They find themselves on the bench. They find themselves like Raheem Sterling. Yeah, there's no meaning. Raheem Sterling is a classic for me. He's just dropped out of the face of earth. Raheem Sterling was, whether you like it or not, a top level footballer. And he was a mainstay in Liverpool, Man City, England, and then he just fell off. And he's now lost because it hasn't worked out for him at Arsenal. Where does Raheem Sterling go next? He's got to find a club that will pay his wages or the money that he wants. Chelsea don't want him. It's madness. So yeah, get a good pre-season behind Ty. I agree. Big up to Placid, said hello. Just opened the stream. Nicolas Jackson doesn't know how to play football. Believe me, he's a bit nuts in the old Jackson, but he does know back in there. Mings not playing at Wembley, especially at Old Trafford. The reason we didn't win the cup, failed Champions League qualification. I'm convinced Mings was our good luck charm. I get that. But yeah, they all did let themselves down with those games. I agree on that. But yeah, we needed Mings out there. I agree on that. Bit of breaking news about Crystal Palace has just come through. Have a look at this. I wonder what people's thoughts, feelings, and emotions are on this one. UEFA have rejected offers from Crystal Palace shareholders to put their shares in a blind trust in a desperate bid for the club to play in Europe next season. This is because they missed the deadline. There is little prospect of Textor selling his stake in time now. Oh, wow. Crystal Palace, I actually feel sorry for them. I actually feel sorry for Crystal Palace. They're actually not going to be able to play in Europe. Despite winning the FA Cup and having the grand prize, Crystal Palace are not going to be in Europe. And that is why Wolfie is probably on cloud nine, because Nottingham Forest will get promoted from the Conference League into the Europa League, and Brighton will take the Conference League spot. Let that one sink in. And do you know what the crazy thing is? Crystal Palace and Brighton are rivals. Imagine that Crystal Palace win the FA Cup, which they did, and they miss out on the European spot, and their rivals Brighton take it. So that's major news about Crystal Palace, and it just shows you about the rules about having sister clubs and the financial implication of it. Look, at the end of the day, Palace, they're our bogey side. We're sort of dancing, aren't we? We're sort of happy. If we drew Crystal Palace in the knockout stage of the Europa League and they beat us, I think all of us would officially give up on the Villa. We'd give up. We wouldn't be able to hack it. We wouldn't be able to handle it. We wouldn't know what to do if Crystal Palace kept continuing to be our bogey side. So, look, honestly, in twofold, yes, I'm buzzing because Crystal Palace are our bogey side. And if they're not in the competition, I can sleep better at night. However, I feel really sorry for them. I feel really sorry for Crystal Palace to miss out on a European spot like that. Something completely non-football related again, all about ownership. But as Pete says, I'll tell you what, Palace players will be up for grabs. Imagine if Eberechi Eze fancies a bit of Europa League. Hey, come to the Villa. In fact, you know what? If we signed Eze, oh my God, that would be a cook. So that means Mateta, Eze, Mark Gay, Tyreek Mitchell, players like that for Crystal Palace. Probably the only reason they are staying at Crystal Palace right now is because of this European competition. Mark my words, Eze, Mateta, they won't be at Palace next season. If you're a Palace fan, you'd absolutely be raging. Raging. So there we go. 5-4, Spain, what a game. Unbelievable. Goal galore, is it? Europa League final, here we come, exactly. It's guaranteed. They're not a bogey side, it's a bogey strategy, same as United. We don't have a clue and always look bad against them, that's true. We have no idea how to play against a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, however you want to word it. So yeah, Crystal Palace, yeah. If I was in that situation, like if we were in that situation as Villa fans, and we weren't allowed to play in a European competition because of ownership problems and because of sister clubs, my head would be on planet Mars. I'd be saying, what's the point in football anymore? You work hard, you qualify for a competition, and as we said in Little Britain, computer says no. So there we go. Sam Hart said, need wingers and a new right back. Midfielders find strikers fine as long as we can add goals from our wingers. Rather left winger that brings goals over striker, especially with battling PSR. It's a good point, Sam. Look, at the end of the day, right back for me, I'll bang the drum. It's our position we need to sort out ASAP. I still think we're short as a number 9, unless, and it's going to be the same conversation I had, it's the mystery of Donyell Marlon. What is happening to Don Marlon? Where is he playing? Who is he playing for? What position is he playing for? Who is Donyell Marlon? Who is Donyell Marlon? So have we got a backup number 9 there? We'll see. My gut instinct is, chat, I'm going to be really real with you on this one. I think Villa are still going to try and go all out for Marcus Rashford on loan. Hear me out on this. Marcus Rashford, we've seen the Monchi comments, and Monchi said how much he loves Marcus Rashford, and Marcus Rashford loved Aston Villa, and he loved Unai Emery, and he loved working for him. I've got a feeling we go for a massive 1-year loan on Marcus Rashford, in which we push to try and get Champions League football, and then he signs permanently for us. I think Rashford is the answer for Unai once again, because he can play left wing and as a number 9. And when I look at how we're trying to recruit and sign, we're not looking for specific positions. I go back to the right back conundrum. We're not just trying to sign a right back. We're trying to sign a right back and right centre back. I think our number 9 will be the same. We're not just trying to sign an out-and-out 9. We're trying to sign a left winger and a 9. And I think Meeks is right. If we had Rashford for a whole season, injury-free, and we got the full game time out of Rashford, I think he pushed us to Champions League 100%. You need to remember, Villa gave Rashford his international career back. We saw him, bless you. We saw him play for number 9. We saw him play for number 9. We saw him play as a number 9 for Villa, bless you, many times. And we saw him do a job at left wing. We need to add goals to that front line, and we need goals fast. And I think, honestly, Rashford may be the one we go for. I can't see him going to Barca. I can't see Barca paying what Rashford and Man United want. I think Barca are just as financially crippled as us. And so if they're not going to do a loan deal, he can come back to us 100%. So, yeah. Whew, it's madness. But people, a big up to each and every single one of you. I really appreciate the love and support tonight on the channel. As I said, apologies for the slightly later kickoff tonight. We do aim for, as I said, that 8:30 slot has been useful for us. We're going to do something a little bit different and special tomorrow. We're going to be doing a big up. I need to work out which time, but it's going to be between the regions of, I reckon, an earlier bit, around 7:30, maybe. Or just after, or maybe even earlier. But basically, keep an eye on my community post. We're going to be doing a cooking and football chat. I'm going to be cooking something. We're going to be talking football. I need to get an upload on Big Up to meet the criteria. So we're going to do something like that. Hold tight. It's going to be a random football chat about talking about anything football, anything Villa related, anything football related. Not quite the transfer links as we're doing here. And then we will be cooking as well. And of course, we'll have the Villa content on YouTube. But we're going to be doing something a little bit different, a bit of a cook-along. So if you have got the Big Up, then make sure you signed in. A cook-along, something we've got to get some content. I don't know yet, but we'll discuss that. We'll sort that out. So I'm going to cook. So if you want some cooking tips, you can see Chef Josh. You can see my OCD with a chopping. She's not happy. But yeah, listen, I'm going to try and do a little cook-along. So lock in for that, people. Lock in for that. Are you cooking, delivering in a giveaway? I don't like cooking. I don't feel like cooking tomorrow. Imagine that. Win more what I cook, and I'll deliver it to your house that night on the stream. That could be an idea, Meeks, one day. But yeah, people, I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. As I said, tomorrow, something different on the Big Up. Would love you guys to come and have a chat and chill with me. And then also, we'll be doing some Villa news and stuff. So yeah. And if it's not a cook-along, it'll be a bake-along. Maybe it'll be, if we do Villa content first, it might be a bake-along, and I'll get Starry to teach me how to do flapjacks or something like that. I don't know. But we'll do something a little bit different. Guys, chat, thank you. Make sure you smash the like. We want to get 50 likes on the stream, so run that up as well. If you haven't done so as well, people, and checked out my upload from earlier, which I'm about to put in the chat, then get on. Always aiming for 100. That's my voice. We're always trying to aim for 100 likes. That is a video for earlier. The Little Britain break off. There we go. If we get over 30 people in there, I'll speak like Lou for the rest of the time. And well done. The Great Villa Bake Off. Oh, that's a great name. The Great Villa Bake Off. Or Cook-along. The Great Villa Cook-along. No. Something like that. We'll get a name for it. Or Colton Cooking. I don't know. Do a Rogan Josh lol. One day, Gary. That's a good idea, though, Gary. That's a good idea. That's it. We'll definitely do a curry. But yeah, if you like a bit of cooking and a bit of chatting of football with me, then it's something we're going to try on the Big Up in the postseason, because we haven't got any watch-alongs. So let's do something different and a little bit where we can have a bit of a play around. Because this is obviously the channel that we're growing of Villa content. Enough of me waffling. Go check out that video. Big up to everyone. Big up to the Puff. Big up to Heidi. Big up to everyone. I'm out of here. Ta